Hey guys, good morning. What's up? Daniel here, 395 Junkie. Just thought I'd throw this quick little clip together. This is what will be the beginnings of a very in-depth video for the install of my wife's lift kit, wheels, tires, winch, bumper. This is the beginnings of the project. This is the 2.5 inch stage 8 lift for my wife's 2018 JL. You see it pretty much comes with everything between your upper and lower control arms. You've got the front and rear track bar. With the stage 8 it comes with their adjustable shocks, coils, front and rear. You can see I've got the Mopar bumper, steel skid plate, the winch mount, Smittybilt X2O Winch Factor 55 Flatlink. So what you got here is 35 inch Patagonia, Milestar Patagonias tires, which are mud terrain. And you'll see that they're mounted here on these Icon wheels. Alright, so what we're going to do real quick is we're going to take some before measurements of what her current stock JL height is, so that we can see what impact really we got from going from a 2.5 inch lift and the extra 33 to 35 inch tires, which is the equivalent of basically 3.5 inches. So theoretically, the front and the rear will go up 3.5 inches, but that's never the way it works. You got a lot of other factors involved, such as weight, what you have in your rig, in the front and in the back. So we're going to take a couple measurements. One in the front here, and then we'll hop to the back and we'll take a measurement there. And what we're going to do is we're going to measure from the floor to the very bottom of the wheel well here. So you've got here in the front about 39.5 right to the center of the wheel well. And jumping back here to the rear, from the floor to the bottom of the wheel well, you've got about 38 3/8. Alright, so today is day number 2 of what you could say is the JL build for my wife's 2018 two-door JL. We're going to go ahead and remove her factory plastic bumper. We're going to replace it with a Mopar steel bumper, and we're going to replace the plastic skid underneath with the steel skid plate that goes along with the bumper. And we're going to install the worn winch plate that's going to sit on top of the bumper, as well as the Smittybilt X2O 10,000 pound winch. So let's get at it. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to start taking everything apart so that we can get to the bumper. We can throw this away. We're not going to be needing that anymore. Alright, so now what we're going to do is on top here there's a plastic piece that we need to get off, and it's as simple as pulling off a couple of plastic tabs. Okay, so now what we need to do is disconnect the factory fog lights. Alright, now what we need to do is we need to take off the bumper. Alright, so we're back. We ran into a little technical difficulties yesterday when we got to a certain point on the install, because there's a tool that you need in a lot of times when you're working on the body of a Jeep or any car for that matter. There are these little things called a nutsert.
And in order to properly secure these pieces into the vehicle, you need what's called a riv nut tool. And I had one of these tools. The problem is the Mopar riv nuts they give you is a M10 size, which is a very larger size diameter than the current riv nut tool that I have. So I had to go on Amazon, delivered it not even 24 hours later. So here we are in the garage, Monday night. Hopefully we can finish up this project this evening. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you guys this tool so you can all be familiar with it in case you ever needed to use one. Essentially what this tool does is it will crush this riv nut into the hole of the Jeep that I'm trying to get it in. And I'll try to show you guys a close-up of that later. But basically what you do is you use this tool, you screw the riv nut on here, you put it in the hole, and you squeeze these two handles together, and it squishes the riv nut towards you, so the weakest point, this more shallow area, will get compressed down, and it'll essentially keep the riv nut tight in there and keep it from pulling out. So I'm going to get to it right now, and hopefully everything goes smooth. Alright guys, so we're going to attempt to get this first riv nut in. I'll show you how one of them works, and then I'm going to knock the other three out, and we'll take it from there. But basically what you do is you have to make sure your riv nut tool is completely open like this. Screw it on just as you would any screw. And now that it's secured on here, we're going to enter it in this hole and this hole, and there's two on the other side. And then what you do is you stick it in the hole right here, and then we just squeeze on it until it's secured in position. We're going to adjust the camera here a little so I can have some more room to work. Alright, that should be a better angle for you guys to see, and hopefully I can get the leverage I need on here. So now we just squeeze, make sure it's straight, and it's starting to go. And just like that, it should be secured. And now what we do is we unscrew this right here. And pull this off. And that there is secured. All right, and there we've got all four nut certs successfully installed. Alright, so now what we need to do is we need to take the worn parts that came with the winch plate. We need to line them up with, and this is the bracket that came with the Mopar bumper. That goes right about there. And then this one with the carriage bolts already through. You line up those two holes there with those two holes there, and you put the screw in there. The bolts that came with the Mopar kit. So let me grab two of those and see if we can do this without dropping everything. Alright, so now what we need to do is we need to take the winch plate, and in the back of here there's 4 holes that get lined up with these 4 carriage bolts. So we're going to line those up there and use some zip ties to tie it off to the frame rail so that we can put some nuts on there. So alright, now what we're going to do is I'm going to get the nuts and washers. I'm going to secure that on there. And I believe it's a 15 millimeter, so let me get that done. We'll move to the next step. We're going to get them snug, but not all the way tight. First, make sure nothing gets cross-threaded. I'm going to tighten down these tie downs a little bit more. Hold it straight. That looks good. Alright, so what we need to do now is we need to wire up the winch, and it's really a no-brainer. Smittybilt makes it really simple. This is the X2O, the 10,000 pound winch. Basically what you got is you've got 4 different bolts here for powering this thing up, and they make it really easy. A, B, C, and D, they're all color-coded according to where they need to get hooked up to between these 4. And then this is your positive lead that goes to the battery, and this is the negative that runs along with it behind the grill to the battery. So I'm going to get this wired up. Alright, now with the winch all wired up correctly, we're going to set it in the winch plate, and use the 4 bolts that go in from underneath to secure it, and then we'll move on to the wiring. Alright, so now that we have the winch all wired up, what we need to do is we need to pop off this front cover here. And now the next thing we need to do is on top here, you've got 5 different T45 bolts we need to take out. And get rid of that. Alright, so now that we have the spacers on here, we have everything removed that we needed to. It's going to be a struggle, but I don't have an extra set of hands, so you're going to see me wrestle with this thing a little bit, but hopefully we'll get it on fairly easy. Alright, so we got 2 of the bolts on. I'm going to keep messing with it until I get all 4 bolts on, and once we get that tightened up, I'll come back to you. Alright, let's talk. I could tell you that everything went really smooth, and you wouldn't know the difference. It'd be a second later in the video, but the reality is not everything goes smooth and as planned. Everything's done, everything's in, but since I last had the video on, it's probably been a good 3 hours. I struggled like hell getting those 4 bolts that are mounted and sticking out of each side of this bumper to go in far enough to get it in far enough so that the nuts would catch. But this was a real pain in the ass. I still have the skid plate to do. I still have to put the synthetic line in, but I think the tough part's over. And you know, I wanted to get on video and kind of you know, share my thoughts right now. I'm frustrated. I was a little willing to throw the towel in at several times, but that would have been too easy. So not everything's going to go as planned. Not everything's going to go smooth. I wish it would. There's a lot of projects that I did on the Jeep that, you know, I ran into the same issues. The difference is it's about 11 o'clock at night. I need to be up early in the morning, but despite all of that, I still really enjoy this. So I'm going to get things wrapped up here. I need to clean the garage. I can't go to bed with a messy garage, so I probably still have another good hour and a half, but I'm not going to video no more. I need to finish this. I need to focus on getting this thing on the road tomorrow so my wife can drive it to work. I need my Honda to go out to LA. So I got a lot to do. So good night. Next time you see this video, maybe it'll be in the morning. I'll shoot some pictures of the finished product. Maybe not. I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll see you guys at the next take. Hey guys, Daniel 395 Junkie here, and we are here at DJ's Automotive with my buddy Tim. How you doing, bud?
Good. How's it going, guys?
Tim and I were going to go ahead and do the 2.5-inch lift on Gooses JL. Him and Londi at DJ's Automotive were kind enough to let us do the lift here, which is going to probably save us a lot of time, right? Time. We got
the lift.
Yeah, I don't have nowhere near this amount of tools, so with the lift it'll make it a lot easier. But big shout out to DJ's Automotive here in Rancho Cucamonga for letting us do this here, and to you for taking a Saturday. I know you work Monday through Friday. I appreciate you doing it for a bud. Got a little $3.95 swag for you guys for appreciation. This is for you, and that's for Londi. Got a t-shirt, patch, and a sticker, so really appreciate it and look forward to getting this done. So thanks again.
Cool. Thank you. When you engines or anything like that, you have to. All right. 21 and a 24.
All right, so front lower links are first. Got the brake line bracket removed.
Ready?
Yep.
Ready?
Yep.
How does that work? How do you get ready? Yep. All right.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if we're gonna have to use the ratchet strap again.
I have to use something real quick.
Probably from this cross member, Tim. Right to the axle. Boom. In. All right. Front uppers, front lowers are done. Just need to tighten everything up, and maybe we'll move on to the track bar or the rear. All right. So we've got the front lowers in, all tightened. The uppers behind that heat shield, they're all tightened in. This side, same thing. We are gonna skip to the coils now, since we're working up here already. And that went pretty seamless. The only thing that the instructions didn't say is the bolt that's behind. Let's see if we get that in focus. The bolt that's behind here would not come out because this looks like some sort of a vacuum pump that's right here. We need to just take that off a little bit and move it out of the way. But other than that, everything went pretty seamless. So moving on to the coils now. So now we're taking the shocks off?
Yeah, it was up the shock off.
Oh, fuck. All right, it's like that.
It's like that. Can we turn it out?
Yeah. Is that enough?
That's good. That sounds good, yeah.
Almost. There it goes.
Yeah.
Nice.
And we're gonna try to rest that groove right in. Let's see, it's gonna be like that. Oh, there we go. There we go. Boring.
Oh yeah.
Now we gotta remove this. These things are no joke.
Look at those bad boys.
2.5 inch icons.
Mama Goose just came and brought us some lunch, and we're taking a little break. And you can't do any better than In-N-Out, that's for sure. All we got left is that front track bar should go pretty quick, right? Finish mounting the shocks. Once we take the rear sway bar links, or the links from the back, we gotta move those to the front. So that's the bracket for the shock reservoir, right?
Yep. That one's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Can you just...
Well, maybe. So.
In the whole freaking Jeep, dude. See that?
All right. Ready?
Yeah.
All right, home stretch. Just got rear track bar.
Yeah, that wasn't that bad at all.
Diff. Here's a diff.
Yeah.
Sweet.
You know what? And a lot can be said about all the other upgrades I did by JK. The only way.
goes.
Alright, so what do you think? Pretty easy, right?
All in a day's work.
All in a day's work is probably 6 hours.
6 hours.
Got control arms, front and rear, top and bottom, track bars, shocks, coils, you name it, man. Lunch, exactly. But man, it's all done. It looks beautiful. You know, DJs really came through for us. Make sure you thank Londy for me. Make sure you guys enjoy your 395 swag. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right, guys, here she is, all done. Back in the 395 Junkie Garage, back from DJ's Automotive in Rancho Cucamonga. You know, another big shout out to them for lending Tim and I their garage there to use the lift and all their tools. And Tim works there. Tim's been there for years and years and years, and Londy's the owner. And you know, if you guys are local and you're ever looking for a trustworthy mechanic, which, you know, some would say they're few and far between, you can't go wrong with those guys. Now's a moment of truth. As you guys might have recalled from earlier in this video, I took a pre-measurement before the wheels, before the tires, before the lift. And just to recap, the JL came stock with 33-inch tires. We added the 35-inch Patagonias, so that's an extra inch in radius. And then we went from obviously no lift to a 2.5-inch lift, so in theory, everything should be 3.5 inches taller than it was before. But that's generally not the case, and I have a feeling you guys are going to be surprised, as I was when I took a tape measure to it just a few minutes ago off camera. Again, before was 39.5, and now taking the same measurements as before, we are at about 44 inches. So that's 4.5 inches we gained. So we picked up another inch somewhere. So now let's go to the rear and see what we picked up there. Previously, before all the lift, we had 38 3/8 from the same measurements, from the floor to the bottom of the wheel well. Now, taking a tape measure to it, 43. So we picked up about 4 5/8 inches. So we picked up pretty much the same. You got an extra 1/8 in the rear, but overall it's about 4.5 inches in lift by going with the 35-inch Patagonias and the 2.5-inch Icon suspension stage 8. Today was really fun. It's the first lift I ever really did myself. It drives really good. In fact, when I say it drives really good, it drives exactly the same way it did stock so far. So we'll see how this thing settles down, settles in. I also understand that it's going to settle a little bit as I drive it. So maybe what was a 4.5-inch lift might end up being somewhere around 4 inches, or maybe even drops a whole inch. But no matter what, I know Goose is going to be happy with it. It's exactly what we expected it. Everything went smooth today. It was about 5 hours, 6 hours of work at the garage. Originally, we were going to do it here in the garage of my house, but after being able to put it on the lift and seeing everything that we had to go through, it would have been a 2-day job. We knocked this out in 1 day, so that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I thoroughly enjoyed making it. It was a video that took about a month to make, since mid-February by the time we did some of the first upgrades, and you know, it took about 3 weeks, but everything's done, everything's complete. Really no more upgrades are planned for this other than maybe some Under Armour. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I ask you, please like, subscribe, share my videos. I really enjoy making them for you guys. I hope you guys enjoy watching them. So if you guys have any questions, leave the comments below, and I'm pretty good about getting back to all my questions within a reasonable amount of time. So other than that, happy trails and drive safe.